Alright, so basically, the idea of rook d4 is that basically you want to go g4, okay? So that's your idea. Right, let's say if white plays a move like a4, you have g4 check, knight g4, bishop takes g4, and it's checkmate, right? So, and the problem with just taking the rook is that there's just a fork. So how do you stop black from playing g4? Well, white in this position played h3, stopping g4, and Liren played h5. Once again, sacrificing the rook and renewing this idea of g4. Now, white played bishop h2, freeing a spot up for the king. And Liren played g4 check, king g3, and now rook to d2. This is just an amazing move. The idea here is that if queen takes, I have knight e4, and this forks the king and queen. Now, what happens if the queen just moves away? Well, you're about to see here. Knight to e4 check. King runs away. Bishop e7. The king takes the pawn. And king to g7 is an absolute killer move. The whole point is that it looks like white can somehow escape. White has time to escape, right? Because there's no apparent checkmate that's in this position. I mean, there is, I guess, knight f6 check, but then you just run your king away, right? So how the hell does, black checkmate white? Well, the whole idea is that, let me just show y'all. So let's say if black takes, you have bishop to f5, and now, let's say if white plays a random move, rook to h8. So that's the key idea. You want to bring the rook over, and it turns out that white can't really do anything about it. In the game, white played bishop to f4, but once again, bishop to f5, and how the hell are you supposed to stop rook h8? Bishop h6 is a good try, but after king to h7, black now has another threat, which is to take this pawn right over here, and to go knight g3 checkmate. Right, remember that the bishop before was protecting the g3 square, but now that it moved to h6, it's not protecting that square anymore, so, now this threat's new. And in addition, black also has, other ideas of maybe, bishop, some like knight f2 ideas, and then bishop g6, which, checkmates the king here. So there's all a couple of ideas for black. And knight f2, if pawn takes and bishop takes, that's checkmate. So queen takes b7, rook takes f2. Once again, this idea of knight g3, bishop g5, and now rook to h8. Wow. You just want to move the king out of the way, get this game over with. Knight to f7 is a good try, but then simply bishop g6, king takes, knight to e5, and wow. Take knight, bishop to f5, let's just say king h5, move your king over. Now it's just going to be checkmate.